Hey, Todd, Liles here, Service Excellence Training. It's early morning, last day of the Press Play for Managers class. And one of the things that we talk about inside this program is the power of vision, the power of an idea. And usually we end the session with the conversation of go out and build your vision, but we're going to do something different this morning. We're going to start the session with the power of a core idea. And the reason why is I know that the brain is fresh, and it may be early morning for you when you're watching this video. So if that's the case, I want to share something with you. Oftentimes what we think is that the most important thing that we have is knowledge, and that is so terribly wrong. Knowledge is important, but do you know that oftentimes knowledge that is actually powerful stems from this concept of a core idea? And you talk about what's a core idea? Well, a core idea is your vision. So if you're a manager, if you're an owner, your core idea is what is the vision? What is the core concept? What can you imagine, if you will, about your company? It's from these core visions, it's from these imaginations that two things are going to come. One's going to become your belief system. You're going to believe something is possible. And when you begin to believe something is possible, what you're going to do is you're going to start performing the actions that will create that possibility. And oftentimes you can't even imagine what all good is going to come from that. Let me give you an example. Albert Einstein, who is one of my childhood heroes, he's still one of my heroes today, just an amazing man that was able to imagine the possibilities of the universe long before there were computers to crunch the idea. When he was 26 years old, he sat down and he imagined this concept called energy is equal to mass times the constant speed of light squared. It's called E is equal to mc squared. And it's a very simple formula. It's just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts of the equation. But the idea that he came up with is so amazingly powerful. From that, things like the nuclear bomb were able to be created. From his idea that he could imagine, even before he had all the math figured out, he could imagine this, nuclear bombs. This thing called quantum mechanics, which still boggles the mind of scientists today. They haven't got it all figured out, but they know it's real. Computers, cell phones, and a list of things that will go on and on and on and on and on. Black holes, the universe. Okay, obviously I'm a little bit of a nerd. But the idea that I'm stressing to you is that all this came from the power of imagination. And imagination is so important. We often forget how to imagine. Kids do a great job of it. But we, as men and women that are leading companies, we often forget, what is it like to just sit back? What is it like to imagine the possibilities? Now, I'm walking into the sanctuary area of where we hold our classes. We hold them at a church, but we don't try to witness to anybody. Although I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with Jesus Christ, right? But I'm not going to witness to you today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some imagination boards. So as I flip around here, you're going to see a couple things, right? You're going to see these boxes, which aren't normally there. That's some things that we're doing, getting gifts to kids that can't necessarily get gifts otherwise. But right here, you're going to see these boards. And on the board, you're going to see our building in the upper left-hand quadrant. That building exists right now today. It's where I'm coming to you from. But before it existed there, it existed as an imagination, as a vision. Over to the upper right-hand quadrant, when I used to show people this, that building wasn't built. That's the amphitheater. It's built now. That was part of the imagination. You see the other part of the amphitheater on the bottom. Well, right over here is the chapel. And it's not built yet, but it will be built. But you know what's amazing about whether or not you're building a business, whether or not you're building a church community, is that this community started with the imagination of the possibility. And from there, it grew to the first 80. And from there, we have 3 services, and we fill an entire sanctuary. My business grew from an imagination of possibility. And I'm constantly reevaluating this. The next big vision for Service Excellence Training is that I want to get 12 full-time consultants coaching 12 full-time contractors. That's the vision. Right now on our team, there's Thomas doing a great job. There's Chris doing a great job. There's myself, which I hope to come out of that and focus more on content and creation and leadership for you guys. There's Terry as well. We've got other people on the team that aren't necessarily coaching. I'm looking right now at the 5th coach, and I've got 4 coaches that are lined up in the wings that are excited about being part of this team. And whether it's them or whether it's some other coaches, they will be on the team eventually, because that's part of the big idea. It's part of the core vision. So this morning, I'm going to challenge the people that are going to come to this classroom to imagine a big possibility for their future. And I ask you to do the same. What does the future of your company look like? What's its core idea? What's the big idea that will drive your beliefs, that will drive your actions? Get that figured out and go to work on it. And every day you, just like us, can turn learning into earning.